I'd like to welcome you to this month's edition of Inside More. Thanks for taking time to stay up to date with your community. We have a great show for you. Take a look.
I doubt if there's very many cities in America that have a veterans memorial like we have here.
4 wooden soldiers have been added to Moore's Veterans Memorial Park. We'll give you an up-close look at this impressive new addition. And later,
as you can see, there's several different sizes of horseshoes.
meet a Moore fireman whose side jobs are a blast from Oklahoma history. He can shoe your horse or forge a piece of art from steel. It's coming up after this. Stay tuned. Until the 1950s, Moore's population was below 500 people. But during the 50s and 60s, a housing boom took place that saw thousands make Moore their new home, and numerous new subdivisions popped up. This trend continued. Today, Moore's population hovers near 53,000 people. Find out more about our history by watching the documentary Moore's Stop, an historical view of an Oklahoma community. It's narrated by Toby Keith and available for $5 at City Hall. Standing guard over Moore's Veterans Memorial Park is a wooden soldier. His uniform, his weapon, the insignia on his sleeve, even his backpack all depict in great detail an American soldier from World War II. Down the lane there are 3 additional wooden soldiers, each depicting a different era from Korea to Vietnam to the modern-day soldier in Iraq and Afghanistan. Altogether, they represent a brand new phase of Moore's Veterans Memorial Park at 4th and Bryant.
I think we did more than hit the mark. I think it doesn't just bring a little bit of a history lesson to the city of Moore, to this particular area right here, but it honors our veterans, our men and women that have gone to war for us.
The soldiers came from 4 trees that died at the park due to an ice storm. About a year ago, they were sent to this man, Clayton Koss, a renowned Oklahoma chainsaw artist. He skillfully formed the trees into the ultra-realistic soldiers you see at the park today.
When he took the tree stumps, literally tree stumps, 2 walnut trees, 2 elm trees, we provided him with pictures of models that we had gotten with who volunteered their time and took pictures all the way around them so that he could carve into the trees the detail from the soldiers.
One of those models was Aaron Sloan. He served in Afghanistan in the U.S. Army and is a Moore resident.
I really hope that I have done justice for the armed forces, for everybody who's involved in the military. I just hope I've done justice for them, because this is such an honor.
That honor came into clarity on May 15th at the official unveiling of the statues. In attendance were hundreds of people, including these 3 men. They served with Moore resident David Wright in Afghanistan as part of a Stryker division with the U.S. Army. In 2009, their vehicle hit an explosive device, severely injuring the 3 men. Wright died instantly. He is honored at the memorial with a special plaque.
Today brought a lot of closure for us guys. We were all in the hospital or wounded whenever the initial memorial service was held, so it meant a lot to us to be here today and see this.
It was overwhelming. It's very
see the honoring of all the different generations of soldiers, and then to come here and see Lieutenant Wright's memorials. It's great.
It's nice to think that while my boys are still over there, that there's so many people back home who seem to care so much. It's real nice.
Soldiers from various generations mingled at the ceremony, just like the wooden soldiers will for generations to come. In fact, the multi-generational aspect of the memorial gives it added impact, which can be seen in the smallest details.
The Korean War, where they wore their little hat, and the rifle's so much different. The Vietnam statue shows the bug repellent in the helmet, which is that's how he did it, you know, and the way they wore the rank on the side, just like we do. Of course, now, you know, like in Afghan and Iraq, we wear the rank in front, right here, so that so it's visible. The helmet's a little different on it. The weapons are different. The uniform altogether is totally different. It just shows the different era of each war.
I don't think it could have turned out any better. You know, you have, oftentimes you have a vision of what you think something's going to be, and when you get the final product, it may not quite live up to it. This is one of those rare cases where it did. In fact, it exceeded what we thought we would get.
The wooden soldiers sit just east of the existing Veterans Memorial, which includes an impressive flag plaza and an area with personalized brick pavers. The memorial section of the park is under continual video surveillance to prevent vandalism, but that's never been a problem here. In fact, just the opposite.
I doubt if there's very many cities in America that have a Veterans Memorial like we have here. It's small right now, but I guarantee you, if you come out and read all of the plaques and see what we have here, you will be proud.
On one of the plaques is an inscription from General Douglas MacArthur. It reads, "The soldier above all other people prays for peace, for he must suffer and bear the deepest wounds and scars of war." For these soldiers of wood, peace is exactly what they've found. Watching over a tranquil park, standing witness to the many people who come to see and remember and show gratefulness for the tremendous sacrifices they represent.
This is the face for the ages. That's what these soldiers has, is faces to this park, which I think is incredible.
Construction continues at full speed on Southwest 19th Street between the I-35 Service Road and Telephone Road. Here you can see where the drainage infrastructure under the intersection of Telephone and 19th is being completely rebuilt to accommodate a wider roadway. At completion of the project in late summer of this year, 19th Street will be 6 lanes wide along the corridor and include new turn lanes and stoplights, all of which are designed to ease traffic congestion. Make sure to watch Inside Moore regularly for updates on these and other municipal construction projects taking place in the city of Moore.
One 6-inch cap, Norman adapter.
Moore firefighter Mark Carter has been on the force for 27 years. You could say he knows a thing or two about putting out fires. He also knows something about how to start them, at least if it's in his old-time coal forge. Mark practices the time-honored tradition of blacksmithing.
Blacksmithing history is, you had to have a blacksmith before you could have any other occupation. The blacksmith made the needles, the scissors for the seamstress. Everything had to be made by metal, so they're probably the oldest profession, second oldest profession, that is.
When he's not working at the fire department, you'll likely find Mark here, hammering away on hot metal in an effort to make a piece of art or a useful tool.
And the old saying, strike with iron is hot, comes from blacksmithing. It's too cold, now you heat it back up.
To heat it up, Mark uses a traditional coal forge, not unlike what blacksmiths were using at the time of Oklahoma statehood.
I bought some really good coal from Virginia. We use propane a lot, but coal is actually more traditional and it burns hotter. Well, I've got an old coal forge that uses coal to heat the metal. Use an anvil and a hammer. And then I've got a few tools that are a little more modern, but propane forged, but we got different tools to punch holes, and kind of like they did, 200 years ago.
Mark's blacksmithing ties in with another talent that may also take you back in time a bit.
As you can see, there's several different sizes of horseshoes.
He is a trained and licensed horseshoer, commonly known as a farrier.
Every 6 weeks, a horse's feet need to be trimmed, and if they're need to be used for work, we put a set of shoes on them. And that's what I did on my days off for my side job. And the horse's foot is a lot like a human foot, as far as the nail and stuff. That part I'm trimming right here is called the frog. The next tool uses a pair of nippers to trim the sole of the foot. The purpose is that their feet grow out and they'll get disproportionate because of the way they move. They'll get one side longer or shorter, so you have to come in and make them level so they'll travel correctly. It's nothing different than, say, a baseball player wears cleats. On a pulling horse, you would put it kind of like a shoe with cleats on them. The only difference is you get to lace up your shoe, and you take them off daily. A horse has to get to nail their shoes on their feet. See the nail come out the side right there. Bend that over, so.
In the end, the horse's foot is filed down, polished up, and good for another 6 weeks. It's a skill that ultimately is responsible for Mark's discovery of blacksmithing.
Horses, you have to make the shoes if something's wrong with their feet, and use a forge. And so that's the art of, it's bending metal, punching holes in metal, and blacksmithing just kind of comes along with that. If it kind of reaches your artistic side more than the mechanical. Horseshoeing is more mechanical, but blacksmithing is more artistic.
Lately, Mark has been uncovering his artistic side, slowly easing out of the horseshoeing business and more into metal art.
Okay, I'm making a stake turner, and you can turn it for a right-handed or a left-handed person. I'm going to make this for a right-handed. The things I make is fireplace sets. I make, wreaths, with roses on them, flowers, stuff to cook with. Just little kind of artsy things. I'm not a very good artist as far as drawing, but I enjoy making something that somebody else enjoys. Yeah, they usually ask how you do it, and you don't ever tell them. But no, they do ask you, and a lot of people think they call it a lost art, which it's not anymore. There's a lot of people doing it, but yeah, it's the concept of a piece of steel being so hard that you can make it bend is pretty exciting to some people.
Mark says blacksmithing is actually seeing a resurgence in popularity in Oklahoma. The primary blacksmithing association in the state currently counts 200 members and growing.
Pretty much it, a little refinement, and that's pretty much it. I'll cool it off, because it is a thing you want to perpetuate. For a while it kind of was hidden, and now it's starting to grow back again. And yeah, I think I do like that part of it. And the kids are usually the first ones that come up, and they love to see what you're doing, and I do enjoy that.
Well, that brings us to the end of this month's show. Of course, we'd always like to hear from you. If you have story ideas or suggestions, give us a call at 793-5207. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.